This is a story of Beth, and it's also my story. This is a picture of Beth when she didn't yet know she would be a girl. She was 14 weeks old on the 10th of July. And 4 months later, overnight, I got heavy cramps. I didn't even know they were contractions, or did I know about going into labor, because the baby was due around Christmas. So when I arrived in the ward of St. Peter's Hospital in Louvain, it was already too late, because the emergency doctor examined me and he said the baby hadn't turned yet, and no way the cervix would dilate enough to deliver my baby. So I would need a cesarean right there, right then, if my baby was going to survive. And the last thing I heard before I saw the scalpel going into my belly was, "What's your favorite town?" Paris, I thought. And when I woke up, my husband said that Beth was safe and that she was lucky, because the umbilical cord was suffocating her, and without a cesarean, she wouldn't have made it. "Beth," I whispered, before I fell back into sleep. When I woke again into the hospital bed in my room, I asked where my baby was, because I needed to hold her and feel her and know that she was safe, and feed her, and keep her close and cuddle her. And that was when they told me that Beth was brought to another hospital, the new Gasthuisberg Hospital, where they had built a brand new neonatology department. But sure, lady, everything was fine. Beth was in an incubator under some lamps because of some liver problem controls and lungs that needed developing and monitoring and blah, blah, blah. And then they gave me this Polaroid picture. That's your baby. Because I had a cesarean, I couldn't go to the other hospital. And maybe they asked me, could you please breastfeed her? Because Beth was 42 centimeters and her weight was about 1,800 grams. Not even 2 packets of sugar. And she would need my milk to grow strong. How? I said, when I cannot hold her. This breast pump, the nurse said. And she showed me how to press the rubber bulb and collect the milk into a glass bottle. So I started pumping the red rubber bulb. And I filled flask after flask of my milk for my girl. Meanwhile, I looked at the most beautiful little creature of the whole world on a Polaroid picture. After a day, I got the message that Beth was doing well. She drank good. And she was a brave little girl. She would be fine. Sure, she would be fine. So I kept pumping a red rubber pump with new energy. And then the nurse asked me, "Lady, there are other babies in the ward. Some of them like 800 grams and only 6 months old. If they could buy my milk to keep them alive." And I thought, oh my God, as long as my Beth would get enough of my milk, I couldn't care giving milk. So I started pumping milk into glass flasks and bottles for the premature babies in the ward of the Gasthuisberg Hospital. And on the 4th day, after birth, they put me into a wheelchair, pushed me to an ambulance that was right before the door, and drove me to the neonatology ward in the brick Gasthuisberg hospital, some 5 kilometers away. There I could see Beth for the first time, live. They gave me rubber gloves before I could touch her. And I wasn't allowed to breastfeed her yet. And after swallowing in every little detail of my Beth, I also noticed the other babies in the ward. There were little tiny creatures in glass cages, wired on monitors and injected by fluids. And back into my room, I started pumping to feed all the babies, all the prematures of the ward, as if they were my baby. After 10 days, I was allowed to breastfeed baby. After 3 weeks, I could take Beth home, and I've never let go of her, and I have breastfed her for longer than 6 months. And this is my princess on her wedding day. And here are her children. And when I see Ruben, the youngest, I see my Beth. Beth has been the best breastfeeding mom I've ever seen. It seems like an old story.